Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called The Godfather Movie. Why billionaires love this film. There are certain categories of people that have a very visceral response to certain types of movies. So we've looked into it and we've done some research, and I think we understand why super wealthy and successful businessmen love The Godfather, and we're going to tell you why. First, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show, as well as to tell you that the show is sponsored by HollywoodIsCalling.com. It is the service which allows you to purchase live calls with more than 100 celebrities, and you can also purchase them for people you know as gifts. The prices range from $19.95 to $29.95. The calls are all live. So treat yourself or treat someone you know. Once again, HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now let's get started. Before we tell you why billionaires love The Godfather, I'm going to give you some background and behind the scenes information about the movie. And I'm going to do this just to give you a better understanding for why it's so popular with so many people, especially in the business community. So The Godfather was a gangster movie made in 1972 by Francis Ford Coppola. The movie starred Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, and Robert Duvall. It tells the story of the Corleone crime family and their rise to power from 1945 to 1955. It depicts all the struggles and challenges that the family's leader, Vito Corleone, had to endure and resolve in order to keep the family and the crime organization safe and secure and prosperous. So when they were in pre-development, the film's director, Francis Ford Coppola, lobbied the studio very strongly to have the film shot on location. At first they were really reluctant, but then the book on which the movie was based on started selling so well, it started making so much money that eventually the studio, Paramount, acquiesced, and they agreed to give Francis the ability to shoot on location. Scenes like the wedding scene that was shot on Staten Island, and they employed hundreds of locals as extra for the wedding. The famous house that was used as the household for the Corleone family was also on Staten Island. The scenes involving the Corleone olive oil business, those were shot on Mott Street in New York. So they're in pre-production, and the studio is looking to staff the movie. Everybody knows that Francis Ford Coppola was the director, but what a lot of people don't realize is that the studio offered that job to 12 other directors before they offered it to Francis, and they all declined the offer. They then decided to offer the job to Francis because they knew that Francis was desperate for money. His previous movies had not done well, and they knew that he would probably accept the offer. So the negotiations began, and eventually Francis agreed to do the movie for $125,000 and 6% of the gross. After its release, the movie was the highest grossing film of 1972, and it went on to eventually gross more than $280 million. Those are 1972 dollars, mind you, so just think about that. To this day, it is widely regarded as one of the greatest cinematic masterpieces of all time. It was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, and it won 3 of them. To this day, whether you're seeing it again or you're seeing it for the first time, it is one of the most captivating and entertaining movies ever made. So why do billionaires love it so much? Why do successful entrepreneurs, billionaires, CEOs, and even gangsters, why do people in power love this movie so much? I believe it's because at its core, the movie is not just about family, but it is about self-actualization and making your dreams come true, making your business goals come true, and doing so at any cost, forcing life to give you what you want. While most viewers see mobsters on the screen, most business people see the mobsters on the screen as entrepreneurs, as fellow businessmen pursuing a business goal. They do it with more ruthlessness They do it with more determination and violence than most people, but they really are seeing themselves up there because they see the incredible adversity these men have to overcome, and sometimes they overcome it with violence. And in that, they see themselves. For anybody who doesn't believe that's an accurate interpretation of the movie, let me tell you some interesting things. Most of the mobsters in the movie were essentially working for a large criminal enterprise. Whenever things got slow or bad, they would simply go out and steal whatever it is they wanted or needed. If you believe that that sort of behavior doesn't actually occur in the corporate sector, then just look at all the intellectual property theft that is occurring between corporations and nation states. Now, when mobsters steal things in the movies, those things may be worth, thousands of dollars. But when corporations or nation states steal things from one another, that intellectual property they're stealing, that's often worth billions of dollars. When things really get bad in the movies, the mobsters would simply kill one another for power or for wealth. In the corporate world, when things get really untenable between companies, it's not all that uncommon for corporations to eliminate the CEOs of their biggest competitors by hiring them. That's how you usurp somebody. You hire them. That's the kind of environment and that's the kind of dynamic that so many mobsters and corporations have to operate in. Whether you're a criminal or whether you're a CEO, oftentimes every decision you make can mean the difference between the survival or the failure of your organization. To this day, and it's been what? It's been half a century now since the movie was released. Silicon Valley is full of young entrepreneurs who feel that it is perfectly acceptable to do whatever you need to do to make your company a success, legal or otherwise. And that mentality, a lot of people feel, has been inspired by decades and decades of gangster movies in which the characters on the screen feel completely justified in doing whatever they need to achieve their ends. The reason this is such a reoccurring theme in the movies is because it happens so often in the real worlds of politics, Wall Street, and the business sector. American history is full of examples of major corporations being built on a foundation of previous criminal activity. And that continues to be the driving force behind many of today's young entrepreneurs. In fact, the nice thing about The Godfather is how refreshingly honest it is. The mobsters steal what they want to steal because they want to steal it. When corporations or nation states steal something, they'll spend a decade or more hiding behind an army of lawyers pretending that they didn't steal it. In fact, you could even make the argument that one of the reasons that The Godfather is so popular is because it is so painfully honest. You almost never see that kind of honesty in politics or business. So having said that, I want to wish you good luck. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.